Welcome, ladies and gents. This should be a really competitive series. Now, you might not know these players' names, but that's what I'm here for because they're all really talented. We've got Antagonist in the blue, 2,400 elo, seed 52 in this tournament. And then we've got Amalius in the red, 2,300 elo, seed 73 in this tournament. So naturally, in the first round, you're going to have like your first seed versus 128 seed, which won't be close or things similar to that. But then you're also going to have the middle of the pack, the middle of the road. These guys, the middle of the road in this tournament, all 2,300 to like 24, 2,500, which is insane level. So I expect this to be very, very close. These are live games. This is happening now. And we've got Stranded. Now, they both actually have opted for Persian, so this is their first pick. The first pick can be mirror with the drafts. That's happened here. You start with a fishing ship on this map, which makes your start super smooth. And then Persians start with the extra food and extra wood as well. So I expect lots of fishing as they get working there on the water. Now, we kind of skipped through some of it. Also, do we have any mods who can do Gamba right now? I don't know. Maybe it's too early for some of my mods. Hopefully, if you have some mods to run some Gamba, that would be sick. Words are hard. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So you start with 2 buffalo, and so you're going to see players scouting around with the buffalo. And so these buffalo give them the vision that they need to find everything else, and you can already see good scouting here from Antagonist, for example. We have no mods to do gambling right now. Really? Wow, mods are... what is it, a Wednesday? What else are they doing? They at work? They sleep? Okay, well, we're going to be adding more mods soon. Sorry about that, chat. We do have a pretty light mod squad. And the light mod squad, they're busy. It's all good. Now, the way I describe these two, so Amalius is super well-rounded, super solid. There's really no big standout tendencies from him as a player beyond that. So just solid strategically, solid overall. That's how all players are at the high level. But I think that Antagonist has slightly better micro. Like, there's key moments in a game with key micro moments, key fights. I think that's where Antagonist will be able to shine a little bit more than Amalius. There also is a very tiny little prediction, tiny little funny thing about Amalius that I mentioned, but I'll mention it now for YouTube later on. So I saw him doing it in a tournament last month, and I played him on ranked 2 to 3 times the past week or two. Before he resigns, if he loses a game, he shift-deletes everything on screen sometimes. Now, again, I do not know if that is him, like, tilting off the earth and raging. I do not know if that's just a thing that he's always done, but I've noticed it recently. Some people really hate losing to casters, right? That could be part of it. But yeah, just that's a funny thing to look forward to. I'm going to predict he does it today, just because he did it in other tournaments as well. So that's something you see all the time. We're going to see lots of fishing here. The norm has been 6 or 7 fishing ships before Feudal Age. But will they go Fast Castle, or will they go Feudal Age Water? Will they go Feudal Age Army? Like, there's so much wood in the middle of this map. That's where you have to go long term. I really like Archer opening. I think if you do that, if you prioritize an Archer opening, you might lose your fish as well. So, very, very tricky stuff. Sacred Ron says, what's the logic for not picking Mongols over Persians? Well, Persians were banned. Mongols were banned. So Mongols probably would have been an option here. Maybe for some of the other maps as well. Oh my god, Amalius is bringing in all the elephants! There's missing elephants from a nearby zoo. They have some suspects. They feel he's fled to Finland. What's happening here? Okay, so this has got to be Fast Castle then. Cracker says, do we still want Gamba? Yeah. I would love some Gamba. I think we can do it now. I think chat wants to bet their points. Thank you, Crackers. Crackers is a beast. He's at work right now. And when I say he's at work, obviously he's at work here modding. So, wow. Okay, so they actually both click up. Look at these builds, guys. These builds are virtually identical. Bill's headed to gold for Amalius now. And then I think Antagonist is going to try and get Is he looking for a rhino? Is he looking for a sneak dock? He has gold underneath the TC. So this Vil almost feels to me like he wants to build a dock somewhere else. Now, you should know that the opponent's somewhat on the other side of the map. There's going to be a second dock. This Vil to me definitely feels like a dock Vil. We've got a barracks from Amalius. Yo, guys, I'm so hyped about this. Because we've seen different builds every single time. The fact that it's a new map, early rounds. I'm sure there's going to be a meta that evolves over time. I'm sure people are going to have their preferences, and certain people are going to see, let's say, the very top players do it one way and do it the same. But the tricky thing about this map, for me, has always been the fact that, yes, you can win water. There's lots of reason to fight on water, but what if you lose the middle? Like, the middle's so valuable for wood. Malleus, I think, is going fast castle here. He is going to make a fire galley, but he only has one dock. And so he's going to make a fire galley. He's going to get his wood upgrade. Okay, I'm a little confused now. Like, if you're going to go castle age, you probably want to skip some of these upgrades. And it's going to be fires from all 3 docks for antagonist. Did end up adding this dock. So this dock is actually nice. So let's say the opponent patrols their fires this way at some point. This dock will always catch that. And it makes it really awkward for someone in red's position to go past that dock because you don't want to run into a demo. You know they know you're there. And 2 more fishing ships for antagonist. If they're pretty much both just fighting for water, feels like a good play. But Amalius is going to go scouts. Scouts here. Not sure I'm in love with scouts, but the opponent's certainly not going to expect it. What should happen, since Amalius is investing way less onto water, he should end up losing water control. So it's key to him that the Scout Edition does something for him. He actually has just produced 1. And is now getting a blacksmith. So I think he's adding a scout for actual scouting. And then he's going to go castle age. And he's got to repair, but only 1 dock to produce. And now there's a fire on the other side. And this is a lot of pressure from antagonist. And there's a lack of, like, true commitment to one particular thing for Amalius, I feel. You going castle age? Well, then you got to get there. Are you going water? Then you probably need a couple more docks. It's too late now to, in my opinion, it's too late to transition away from this too much. He sees the TC. He sees the wood line for the opponent. But he's starting to lose on water, and he's going to start to stack up a demo here. But things are getting a little bit desperate. He is repairing here. Is his ship shooting fire, though? His ship is just stuck. His ship wasn't firing back. Now it goes down. And this ship as well is surrounded. So there, you know, after you open with water like this and you go so heavy with the wood and with the gold, there's then a switch to, well, first off, your fish are protected, but then you start to switch onto the food underneath the TC. So this is good for antagonist. He does get housed pretty badly here. But he's essentially like, okay, apparently my opponent's giving up on water. Scout actually gets trapped in here. And Amalius is going to kill the Vil. No, the Scout can't hit. Well, Scout goes down. And perfect start here for antagonist. It just seems like the better build-up. And he's not going to be that much later to castle age as well, from what it seems like. Really nice build here from antagonist. He's going to dominate the water. We do still have channel points running. It's rare that we have the bets running this far into a game. Whatever. We'll let the people make decisions based on what they see here. I'd say Amalius with the stable would want to go knights, but he's not going to have as much food eco. So probably could only make a knight or 2. Is going to take some of the hunt. May drop the second TC. I love antagonist build. It just feels very much like someone who's practiced a lot for this tournament. It put in some sets. Like, I know now more than ever, you've got people who are, let's say, ranked like 30th to 50th, 30th to 60th, feeling like they've got a really good shot in events if they get the preparation right. And people are enjoying playing practice sessions more on tournament settings more than they are ladder a lot of the time. There's a lot more focus on that, so I'd really like to see that practice pay off. And Malleus is a bunch of different things he wants to do here. He's got the Tigers attacking him right now. Monastery could actually be denied by the scout if he's not careful. He's trying to add a new dock because I think he wants to kill the opponent's fish right now. Knowing those fishing ships are safe is going to have him in an awkward spot. Speaking of awkward, though, Villager brought forward from Antagonist. That's a bit of a waste. He'll try and get revenge, though. Snipes the Villager with the scout. Look at these walls from Antagonist. He basically knows that he has to defend from the Knights. If he defends from the Knights, he's safe. So he goes for what we call the egg walls. I'm pretty sure there's a massive hole here. The Knights are on the way. Monk's going to be on the way. Fire galleys from Amalia still out and about, still trying to do something. Could maybe find some kills. Antagonist finds that, backs away. He's done a sick job, though. He's repairing all of his ships, which is so difficult to do. So difficult to pay attention to. And there's a hole! There's a hole! First game of the series. Shaky stuff, right? Nerves, everything that comes with it. This map is not easy to play. And there's the weak villager in there from before. I think Amalia's wants it. Huh. What, can the knight not hit her? Okay, well, now the knight can hit her. She'll probably go down. She does. The knight goes down. There's a monk here as well. Could convert the camel. Yeah, monks actually become the best unit for Amalia's right now because Antagonist is going to be hopping out with camels to defend. Yeah, no fishing ships soon for Amalia's, but he did transition onto some hunt. He's still got water buffalo, and he has the hill. If you have the hill on this map, anything can happen. And I think that Antagonist is going to be trying to think of ways to push back to the middle. Now, for me, I think Light Cav is an excellent addition to try and snipe those monks. Suddenly, your camels can join the engagements. But that's going to take some time. And it's just always a hole. And he's always got a quick wall, man. Like, what crazy adaptations here. And this is going to go down soon. Water influences the score massively. But it also can influence the game pretty massively as well. In this case, the fishing ships. Antagonist is adding more. He's got to add more quick walls as well. Okay, they're both going to have monks now. And the monk from blue might be enough to push Amalius away. Oh, wait. Well, not anymore because he actually just... He gave up the spearman, which is probably fine. So yeah, there's 8 ships on the field for... Or not in the field, I guess on the water. For Antagonist. That's going to add to his score, and then he's got the fishing ships, but... See if they're all working. They seem to be working pretty nicely. Basically, if you lose the monks right now, if you're Amalius, you're screwed. You need a little bit more time to adapt your economy. There's the second TC. I'm sure farms will be coming up. The monks are the key. And Persian monks suck compared to other civilizations monks. They're both Persians in this case. Conversion. That's pretty good situation for Amalius. Maybe he's got another monk here. Could convert again. He needs that conversion because then he might save the other monk. Okay, he gets it. There's another monk coming. He saves them. He doesn't save the monk. Excuse me. Oh, man. So I know most of you guys don't play tournaments, right? But, I mean, you guys even know... Type a 1 in chat if you find playing ranked stressful. I know there's going to be a lot of ones, even from the lurkers who don't like the type usually. So, tournaments is just it's a completely different ball game. And then you come in and it's game 1 and it's this intense. Like, it's pretty crazy pressure. And someone says yes in any game. Okay. So yeah, I mean, RTS is just special in that. I think, I mean, I haven't played competitively Like, I'm decent in other games, but I never played tournaments or anything along those lines in other types of games, so maybe I'm just misinformed, but RTS with all the different actions you have to do, with how quickly things can fall apart, I think is just special in that regard. Now, still waiting. Like, I think that Antagonist has stabilized things nicely here. Obviously, he just lost a random Vil, which is kind of awkward, but he's got 22 fishing ships. Like, he's doing everything right except make Light Cav, in my opinion. I think Light Cav wins him this game. Now, he doesn't have to. He could just go Camel and Monk and just keep trading conversions, but 3 Light Cav, these Monks die, and then the Camels can collapse, and then he takes the hill. Like, Antagonist is in a great position. Now, way he could lose the game is if he loses his Monk mass, doesn't get as many conversions, and Red continues to have 7 Monks on the field that can convert all of his Camels. Especially if this turns into a Tower Rush, or a siege push, or a castle drop, which could happen. We've got ranges now from Amelius. Maybe thinking about Cav Archers. When you don't want to be engaging with Camels against Monks, because Camels don't kill Monks that quickly either. Amelius about to get 4 relics, dropping triple range. He's got a chance here, guys. The window for Light Cav might be closed by the time he shows up if there's going to be more army here. I actually love the Crossbow choice over Cav Archers because Camels do bonus damage versus the CA. This is funny. These two are like, come on, I can't drop off of the lumber camp anymore. I'm still doing the same job. They've been... what's the word I'm looking for? They're being shunned. And now they're going to fight back. Telling you guys, Antagonist has been producing like a madman. 25 fishing ships. I mean, where is he not with fishing ships? He's got 3 TCs as well. His eco's unbelievable. But if it gets to 15 crossbows with these monks, becomes a very, very, very interesting situation. The numbers aren't there yet for Amelius. But he's made the right call to go for crossbow. He's made the right call to prioritize the hill. He's got good eco upgrades. He just doesn't have fish. You can't go back on the water now. Everything, your advantage has to be the relics in the middle, the hill in the middle. Normal Nomad, this game is probably over. On a map like this, it's very different. There's the Light Cav, but there's crossbows here. I don't know. That's a lot of crossbows in support. I think that Antagonist is going to start to sweat here a little bit. Guys, one thing I have a lot of experience with is getting a lead in a game and throwing it massively, okay? That is what Antagonist is at risk of doing right now. Because now he feels like, okay, Light Cav doesn't work. So now I need to go Knights. Just go for, like, I'm Persians. I get extra bonus damage against crossbows that could still be good for me. Well, guess what? Then he's going to dive with Knights. And if Amelius gets 8 conversions, disaster could strike. So, I mean, this is before we could have a castle drop. There's so much. The key for Amelius, though, you don't leave the hill. You never leave the hill. Never leave this vision. You're seeing your opponents getting ready to strike, massing a lot of units. You gotta be very careful here. Oh, man, but he can see a lot. He can apply more pressure. And Antagonist kind of struggling to know what to do, where to go. Ballistics is on the way. Just like 6 Light Cav swooping in could be such a big deal. Okay, there's going to be 1 Light Cav. But you got to be careful. But can Amelius get conversions? How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He gets 5 conversions. The monks will also heal. That could have been a better fight for Amelius. Also could have been worse. But there's monks from Antagonist. He's just going to convert his units right back. And the main monk group is down for Amelius. That was good enough for Antagonist. It was just enough patience to wait till he could get his numbers. And now, if this was open field, he could collapse on this. But there's lots of choke points to worry about. And we have Imp for Amelius? What? Imp? Wow, that's crazy. Look at this. We've got blue expanding for a TC. Look how close they are to each other. This is Red's line of sight. He can see all this army, and he can see his opponent's TCing here. Damage control at the houses and the gates is good. Imp probably just made the most sense for him because he had the resources, and It would have taken him so long to invest into upgrades or get knights or more camels out. Camels might not even make sense if the opponent has the monks still. Unfortunately, Persians don't get Bracer, though, so the crossbows are just not really a unit that scales super well. Big raid over here from Antagonist. Amalius is just microing his crossbows. A minute away from Imp, though. An Imp could change things, but Antagonist still has such a nice little lead. Here he will lose his units, though. That micro is actually perfect from Amalius. I know he lost Bills, but that was... Maybe he's got a chance. Like, chemistry crossbows? Don't know if chemistry's enough. Like, honestly, if he had a Civ with Bracer, this is very much a winning position. Well, okay, not a winning position, but a position he could win from, is what I meant to say. Chemistry takes a long time to pay off. But you just have to conserve your numbers. And you have to hope. Now, I would have loved to have seen Rams from Antagonist to take down these buildings. We didn't see that. There's chemistry now. That might freak Antagonist out a little bit as he continues to try and move in, find some engagements. He'll know chemistry is the only upgrade these things will benefit from, and that'll take some time. The TC's fully garrisoned. God, this is crazy. Look at how much is happening here. There's also still raids elsewhere. There's so much to look at. The eco is so idle for Amalius, but he's not losing his crossbow group. I think it's going to be YOLO Castlage from Antagonist. He can't go Imp now. He just needs more Knights all the time. Knights, Knights, Knights. Are Castlage Knights good enough against crossbows with chemistry? If it was Bracer and chemistry, no. Especially if Arbalest was available. Antagonist getting every conversion he can, but his monks are starting to go down. Guys, this is pretty crazy. Vills are on stone. We could see a castle drop as well. Maybe on the hill would make sense for Antagonist, but that could so easily be denied. Who wins this game? Antagonist is going to try and raid on both sides. That's one way you do it against the crossbows too. You hit where the crossbows are not. 32 eco kills here for Antagonist, but how's he going to kill the crossbows, man? There's so much exposed eco as well, right? Like, everything's so condensed on this map. Like, this is 20 Vills right here, and that's so much of the gold income. This is nuts. Still trying to raid. Cav Archers and crossbows are here. We'll eventually deal with that. Okay, Amalius will see the Siege Workshop has a flag, so here he goes. Oh, man. Vills are going to get slaughtered. He sees the Mangonel. He's using a small group to take out the Mangonel, or try to. Oh, he does get it, and he's killing the Knights, but now he's getting raided at home. He's getting raided at home. What a game. So good from Antagonist to continue to raid while he has to defend here. Crazy eco difference. But, like, you can only make Knights if you have gold. And right now, the gold income is a big question mark for Antagonist because of the crossbows. Like, this TC is so valuable to him. He needs to complete this. This TC as well. I don't know if this TC goes up. He didn't know the crossbows just were going to come back. He didn't sense that at all. That's a crazy, crazy situation here. Cav Archers trying their best to snipe down the Knights, but they have to hit and run. And Antagonist just continues to churn out eco, continues to churn out military. Imp is nowhere in sight for him. Cav Archer's pretty good. Pretty good option here. If only he had Bracer. But it's not something the Persians get access to. I think the additional mobility is really nice with the CA, because you can keep up with the Knights. And Amalius is moving away. Man, what a great job from Antagonist to get these TCs up. But he needs to, like... I wonder if he's gone too far. Like, you need Imp. But if you go Imp, then you don't have army to defend. So it's this never-ending cycle. It doesn't feel like he's anywhere close to Imp. Guys, Amalius is going to win this game. I think? I really don't know. Look how cramped it is in here. Like, oh, a castle now. Oh, that's so sick. That's so sick. Okay. That's so sick. That's a sick castle, because that also denies Amalius's gold. And I think it should go up. 60 eco lead for antagonist. Now, the fishing ships are really... He's fish trapping too? Well, he's fish trapped in some locations. Most of them are inefficient. Crossbows have killed 37 units. And that's not all vills. That's only 16 or 17 vills. They've just killed so many knights. And there's 20 CA for Amalius. But he can't get his own castle to treb this down. There's kind of TCs everywhere from antagonist to block off the ranged units. Can you imagine if you were Lithuanians here and could get the TC range upgrade? You could, like, control half the map if you were blue. What on earth is this game? You'd need, like... You need siege if you're Amalius, but then you have to try and get these little stones, which are really hard to focus on. Especially when you're being raided all the time. Quick wall. Trying, getting raided. Crossbows. I do think that, like... I get that Amalius is being raided, but I do think you always have to apply pressure where you can. And maybe now is your time if you're antagonist. That's a lot of army you're up against. Maybe you actually cut production and just try and click him for a second. Maybe. Look at him use the shoreline, loop in again. Like, it's like there's always another group. Look, there's another group here as well. Like, he really fully understands his win condition. He knows his eco is way superior. I like the TC from Amalius. That's a really good idea. You gotta go imp here, antagonist. You gotta go imp. Okay, he stopped producing knights. He's gonna click. What a game. What a series. Well, I mean, it's the first game, but hopefully the rest of the series is like this. Fish traps could get sniped, by the way. Like, that's not a spot you want to be if the CA loop around. Ooh, but more villager kills found for antagonist. TC will go up, but more damage being done, and now he's even gonna TC here. Okay, so he's going to TC that gold as well. 83 eco killed by antagonist this game. He's on the way to imp. Fishing ships, fish traps, say goodbye to that. Remember, he has farms, but he has to keep them safe as well. His crossbow's going to loop over to the right side now, where antagonist got a TC down. It's wild to me that this is actually winnable for the guy who has 52 vills. He just has so much army, bro. And the army is doing real damage to the army from antagonist. Now, if he can afford armor and cavalier, it becomes a different story. But I'm not sure that he's going to be able to easily get those upgrades because he's in this never-ending cycle of needing to spam army and losing it all at the same time. Like, it's an unbelievable situation we found ourselves in here. The CA are going to get Parthian tactics now. You're still at least 2 minutes away from the upgrades of your antagonist because you're not imp yet, and the upgrades take time. And then he has to relocate food eco too. I mean, this is a mess. This is an absolute mess. This is winnable for Amalius. It is. But can he continue to find the spots to pressure? Look at the idle time from both of them. Over 3 hours idle eco. Okay, there's armor. Now, armor has a bigger effect here than in normal situations because, remember, Bracer isn't available for Persians. So even just that, without Cavalier, could still be okay. He's got to be patient with it. As patient as the game can allow you to be as you're getting rated on the gold. I mean, 150 ecos, considerable amount. He's still got food. He's still got gold. I think antagonist can start to finally put a dent into this army count and maybe snag the win. Okay, CA go underneath the TC. The knights will have armor. They're going to chase this down now. Got some quick walls from Antagonist, funneling towards the fire ships. Let's go. That's the start. Kills that army. Now Cavalier's on the way. And see, now he can rest a little bit. Now he can breathe. Look at these farms. Boom. Just crazy. TCs everywhere, man. He's got like 8 TCs. Crazy stuff we're witnessing. Malleus needs to push it. Catching up in eco's not going to be an option. He is going to still expand. That's fine. But he needs to win big fights. And Antagonist has lost a bunch of ills towards the middle here. He's going to go for the raids now. And I guess when you have ATCs, you've always got eco working elsewhere. And we already saw how many kills he was able to get against imp units with knights. Now he's going to try and get kills with Cavalier. He's got a Treb as well on the TC from Amalius, so he'll lose that. And Amalius is just... He's only reacting now. I guess the exception would be this army, but this gets pushed away, and I think Antagonist has all the control now. Finally, the eco paid off. I mean, it took so long. Collected 20,000 more resources. The chemistry upgrade and the army from Amalius was sick. Like, so much micro, so much focus on army. But yeah, now you should see Antagonist be able to breathe freely at home and really cement his position. The Cavalier just too big of a spike. You should eventually be able to get the army mass to actually kill the Cav archers now. It's not easy with these numbers, but you could get there. Or you could transition. Go for something else, maybe. What else is wild is on other maps, there's a lot of stone. Here, there's only these little single tiles. So it becomes really difficult to think about that and get to multiple castles, it seems. Oh, man. Antagonist clicks Savar. Okay, well, if he could have 30 Savar, it's GG. So Amalius needs to do some damage before it gets there. And here he is. You could tell the Antagonist doesn't want to engage. What's even the wood situation on this map? Guys, I didn't think we would see almost an hour-long game on this map of all maps. This is a tough map to play. A lot of things can go wrong. I honestly don't think many games are going to go imp on this map. You know, during the show match with Doubt and Viper, we did see some of the games go imp. Or, well, the one game go imp, but still. Yeah, this is what you do. You just go raid, and that frees up your own eco, because now red has to go home. It's bad enough where red has to go home and deal with that. And 200 pop for Antagonist. Had a really nice opening. And this is a big one for your confidence, because this got really close to you losing it. So your initial opening was better, and then you held on like a beast. And he has been a beast. I mean, look at these TCs. He's TC'd everywhere around the map. It's so funny. He's going to drop another one on that gold. I think the town centers have been a really important part of this for him. Because it got to a point where red didn't really know where to hit and where to raid. Savar's about to be in. Malleus's pop is still pretty good. It's 140. But it's not going to be 140 for much longer. GG. Wow. What a freaking game, dude. That was... If every game in this series is that good, we are in for one of the better sets of the week. That was top tier stuff. I think the opening from Antagonist was fantastic. I felt like he seemed to have more of an idea of how to play the water aspect. There was, like, I think this game could have easily been over in Castle Age if he just went light cav. Like, that's going to be something if he wins this round and then say preparing for the next. You make light cav once you have the fish boom, you snipe the monks, he can make the move. The crossbow play from Amalius, kind of out of the blue, kind of unexpected. You don't really expect a mid-Castle Age crossbow switch from Persians, but it did do a lot of damage, especially with Imp. There were a bunch of people, there was a couple people in my chat, not going to name names. They said, why Imp, right? When he clicked Imp. Imp made a big difference. Chemistry actually gave him a chance here. I'm going to show you the value destroyed. Bottom left, over 20,000 for both players. Amalius destroyed way more value, basically because he killed so many knights compared to the amount of military Antagonist was able to kill. But 200 villagers died that game. You look at this, you might think this was easy for Antagonist, but it got really dangerous at points. And he thankfully gets the job done. Again, I think you lose that one, and that feels very painful. Now you win. You feel like you had the better start. You held on to the lead, and you really trust yourself here and trust your strategy. So